Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming out, and everybody's commenting that it is raining. No question about that. So that means we've been blessed with a lot of sunshine at most of our press conferences, but it's a great day here in Louisville. Today is the first day of the Kentucky State Fair, which I've been at most of this morning, and they are up and running as usual. So I encourage everybody to go out there and have that great experience for our city. Before I start, I want to thank Kathy Berkey and Judd Hendricks. But Kathy, this is not a small thing you're pulling off here. As a matter of fact, we're going for a world record this year. So thanks for year one and then year two, and keep going here. So Kathy, thank you so much. Let's give it up for her. Judd, thank you. Thanks, Judd. All right. Also, I want to recognize Mary Ellen Wiederwall, who's here. She's our chief for Louisville Forward, our Office for Globalization, with Brian Warren and Ricky Santiago. Falls under her purview, and creating a more global city is one of our objectives all the time. So Brian, Ricky, Mary Ellen, thank you guys as well. Appreciate y'all. Well, why do people come out to this event? There's great food. There's great interest in the world. There's great cuisine. But I think most of all, people want to get to know people that may be a little different from them, and that we get to celebrate the global humanity that we all share. When I was a kid, for whatever reason, I was fascinated by the globe. And I had a globe in my room, and we'd spin the globe and put your finger on it, and wherever it stopped, we'd say, do you know that place? So it was a kind of a lifelong curiosity I had about the world. So it was always a goal that I had to travel around the world and get to know people. And after I finished college, I worked for a year and saved money and went off on a $10 a day global adventure. And I've spent most of that time in Asia, but what I learned was everybody's pretty much the same around the world. Everybody's trying to take care of their family. Everybody loves each other. It's the bad officials, most of them aren't elected, that screw things up. But at its core, people want to get along with each other. They want the same thing day in and day out. And eating together and sharing food and having conversation is one way they do that. And certainly it reminds us all of the common humanity that we have. And it's important that we come together and build this common understanding that we are in this together, and that our diversity and our differences are some of our most valuable assets, but a treasure for our country and certainly for our city as well. And so that's why we're here today. We're kind of celebrating that humanity, and we're having an event that highlights it in a different kind of way, but a way that's a lot of fun. So I'm here today to announce the second annual Big Table, which is the world's largest potluck event. So on Sunday, September the 16th, this space will be lined with over 450 tables for members of our community. And we invite people from all over our city and all over the world that are visiting us to sit and eat together, to welcome each other as neighbors, and just kind of check in and see what's going on with each other. This event started last year to welcome immigrants to our community. Obviously, we love our immigrant community. Most of our growth is coming from our immigrant community. Immigrants make us a much more interesting city, and most all of us were immigrants at one point in time as well. So it's important that our immigrant community knows how much we value and appreciate them. These are folks that are getting after it just like everybody else, creating jobs, filling jobs, starting companies, getting their degrees, but also sharing their culture and heritage with us in our city as well. But I don't think it's any secret today, when you look around the world with the world refugee crisis that we have, when you look around our country with people that might not look like folks like me being vilified for whatever reason, it has never been more important for us to come together and share our common humanity. And that's why I'm so grateful for the Big Table for creating this type of event for our city. We're proud to be a welcoming city, a city of inclusion, entrepreneurship, innovation, but also compassion. And I think the world is looking for cities like ours, where you can show that we're all in this together and opportunity is created for everybody, and we're all here to lift each other up. That's what our value of compassion is all about. And food and good conversation, When you put that to the mix, you have a recipe for something really special that can happen, and that's what's going to happen here at the big table. We're not only going to have a sit-down meal, but we're going to also try to break a world record. And we like to break these world records around good things like compassion. We've got the world record for that. So we're going to try to break a world record for a potluck dinner as well. That goal, or our goal, is to have about 3,500 people participate, which will then be the world's largest potluck dinner. All right, so that'll be a good time, and everybody can come out. Last year, we had about 1,300 people attend the event, so we're trying to about triple that to set this big world record and send a message to the rest of the country that great things continue to happen in our city. In Louisville, we like a challenge, so let's get after that. I'd like to invite everybody out. And remember, this invitation is open to everybody. So whether you're from Germany or Germantown, come out. Whether you're from Vietnam or Valley Station, come out. Bring your potluck dinner to share with everybody. And you can sign up and find out more about this big table event on their Facebook page, and we'll be hearing more about that in a second. Also remember, we are a city of foodies. We are always on the top 10 list, whether it's top 10 best food cities in the country or the world. So this will be a great time to showcase our great foodie culture that we have in our city, but also then from our native countries as well. So please join in. There are a lot of people and a lot of groups to thank for getting this event off the ground. I want to reiterate my thanks for Kathy Berkey and Judd Hendricks. Thank you guys very much. Here at Iroquois Park, a great setting for this. So I want to thank Metro Parks. Our Office for Globalization is doing incredible things in our city, taking Louisville to the world and welcoming the world to Louisville. Brian, thank you for you and your team. Atria Healthcare, great local company, growing, vibrant company, is helping us as well. And then, of course, none of this can happen without our Metro Council. They're great partners and growing a proud, progressive, compassionate city. So I want to thank our Metro Council. Councilwoman Welch, you'll be hearing from her in a minute, but on behalf of the city, thank you to the council. All right, so let's hear a little bit more about how all this started. One of the great leaders of compassion and globalization in our city is Judd Hendricks, so please welcome Judd Hendricks.
We do want to say a great deal of thanks to the mayor, not only for hosting this event, but just for modeling in his own life this welcoming and integrating capacity that he does so well. So thank you for that from the mayor perspective and also from your personal integrity as well. And of course, a lot of thanks to Brian Warren, the Office of Globalization. As the mayor said, this event originally started to welcome specifically those in our community. They may look different to us, they may be born somewhere different than the United States, speak a different language, practice a different religion, but it's an opportunity for us to simply to come together and in the midst of all of that diversity, to sit, share food, and share stories, and to remind us that we are essentially humans first before all of that other stuff. We also, this is really kind of part of a larger movement that's happening around the country. People are deciding that they are not going to let our differences separate us, that we want to come together with people around our differences. And people are finding all kinds of creative ways around the country to do that. And the big table is a symbol of that, a symbol of us deciding in the midst of our difference to come together and meet one another and connect with each other. We also want to thank Paula Shanoff Foundation for helping make this happen and all the other support that members of our community have given this effort. I want to introduce Joppa Buckner. Joppa came last year and was a table host. We need 450 table hosts to make this happen. Essentially, a table host welcomes people to their table, kind of organizes the conversation, and makes that happen. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up on our webpage to be a table host. And Joppa came last year and helped facilitate conversation. So I wanted to introduce Joppa Buckner to tell us a little bit about his experience. Thanks, Joppa.
So I grew up here in Louisville, in the West End, but I have lived actually in many places in Louisville. And the table I hosted at the last event reflected that. It was a multi-generational table. There were two young white couples with their children. There was a middle-aged couple. There were two young black African-American women who were students at University of Louisville. And then there was a retired elderly woman who was the elder of our table, and myself and my wife. There were ministers, there were teachers, there were veterans, there were students. It was felt like a family reunion, really, for me. People from all over the city coming to the table, reflecting the multi-generational nature of our city. Now, something that pumped me most about my participation happened after the dinner. And about several weeks later, I was walking down the street, and I saw some people coming toward me. It was a man, a woman, and a little child. And as we approached one another, we began to recognize that we had the shared experience of being at the big table. And so the smiles of recognition sort of grew on our faces until we came and we basically embraced and shook hands and just really felt a return of those good feelings that we had had by being a part of that event. So the recognition of strangers, that's really one of I think the big things about the big table, is that we think we are all strangers in this city, but there are different ways we can recognize one another. And when I was sitting among my guests, I was reminded of my brother, who about 20 years ago died. And I was reminded of my brother because the food I bought to contribute was black-eyed peas and cornbread, which I and my brother almost every New Year's Day would get together. At least on New Year's, we would get together and have that meal together. And so I and our brother didn't always see eye to eye. But that experience basically allowed us to reconnect and work through our conflicts. And I see, in a way, we are all just distant relatives here in Louisville. And the big table is just like the meal I had each year with my brother. Well, I reconnected with him, and out of that reconnection, built the capacity to overcome whatever conflicts we may have. So I am really excited to be a part of the big table again, hosting the table, and looking forward to the people I will meet here at this big table as I did last year. So I'm going to thank Judd and Kathy for really putting this on and inviting, as everyone is invited and welcome to come and be a part of the big table and experience that connection you can have with strangers in this city of Louisville. And so with that, I want to introduce and welcome Kathy Berkey, who has allowed me to have this wonderful experience. Kathy.
Thank you, Japa. So imagine this road filled with 3,500 people and all gathered around tables of 8 and getting to know one another. That's what you can expect at the big table. As you arrive, you will see clearly marked entrance and exits where you will be counted toward the official Guinness Book of World Records total. There will be 450 tables, and each will have a volunteer table host that will help you find a seat with people that you don't know yet. The tables will be arranged in groups of 4, and there will be a food table in between each one of those. We will provide plates, utensils, napkins, tables, and chairs. And so to be counted toward the world record, every participant must bring a dish to share with at least 6 people and must be present between 5:45 p.m. and 6:15 p.m. The dish that you bring can be dessert, it can be food, it can be fruit, or it can be a drink to be shared, a non-alcoholic drink to be shared with at least 6. Check out our website for details about additional things you may need to bring, like serving utensils, and then a list of ingredients that's in your dish. At the big table, there's no central stage or entertainment schedule. The magic of the event is what happens at the table. We've created story cards to help facilitate the conversation and to help you get to know each other on a meaningful level. There are questions like, what is the story behind the dish that you brought? Or how do you express your creativity? Our planning team has been working hard throughout the planning process by contacting civic organizations and groups all around the city. We're constantly asking ourselves, who else should be invited? And we can't ask the question enough. The purpose of this event is to create a space where all members of the community can come and connect with one another. At the big table, you can expect to meet someone that you wouldn't normally get to know. Or if you did meet them, you might not have a chance to just stop and talk. This is a space to have meaningful conversation and learn about your fellow community members. There's so many things that divide us: politics, religion, socioeconomic differences, even simple geographic differences. The aim of the big table is to create spaces to connect, even with our differences. Our vision is one where we can encounter each other with our differences and yet still build a society together. That is a healthy community. We're setting the table for everyone to come. We all bring something unique, and we all belong. We invite you to join us at the big table. And I would like to introduce Councilwoman Vicki Welsh, who is representing District 13. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here on behalf of Marianne Butler. This is her District 15, where we're standing. But I grew up in the South End, and I roamed this park from top to bottom all my young life. And I've been there in my old life, too, a little bit. But so it means a lot to me. I've seen so many improvements in this park. I want to thank you, Mayor Fisher, for your support of our South End and all the many things that you've helped with here. Not only here, but the Jefferson Memorial Forest, which is my district. My district starts about 1.5 miles down the road. But this event is phenomenal. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there last year, but I do plan to be a table host this year. My mother came, and I asked her to report back to me about this event, and she couldn't say enough about it. She met the most wonderful people at her table. The music was so darn good, she had to dance, and in the wrong kind of shoes, she fell and broke her elbow. So she was the one, if you saw, that went down and broke her elbow, but she's back in action, she's back dancing, and she plans to be here again, dancing more carefully this time, and I will be here to watch her. So thank you to all who have put this on. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a great opportunity for all South End kids who are now adults to come back and make this a reunion. I'm putting the challenge out to all of my people who I graduated with right here at Iroquois Park and the guys who graduated from DeSales right around here. I know you roamed this park like I did. Come on back on that Sunday, September 16, and let's make this a school reunion too. Bring your families and let's have a lot of fun. Thanks so much.
Any questions about this event? All right. Thank you all for covering this and coming out. Take care.